Oh, she floats through the air with the greatest of ease, this daring young girl on a flying trapeze. Her actions are graceful, although she does please. My love she has purloined away. Oh, she'd smile from her perch on the people below, and one day she'd smile on my love. I blew her a kiss, and she hollered, "Bravo!" as she hung by her nose up above.
The perception of the circus still is a man in a top hat, or a man, a clown, or somebody, that's all wear the top hat.
All woman in a top hat.
All woman in a top hat. And that is the perception. And now we've got all these amazing women around this table who can destroy that perception.
Oh, she floats through the air with the greatest of ease, this daring young girl on a flying trapeze. Her actions are graceful, although she does please. My love she has purloined away.
Circus, I think, is one of probably the few worlds where it makes no difference if you are a woman or a man. Like, for instance, my job, I mean, I was passionate about horses, and I'm a horse trainer and a presenter. And when I started, there was very few women doing it, but I had no opposition. But I had to prove, you know, like a man would, on the work I did. I mean, I was the ringmistress. I was the youngest ringmistress in the world when I started. But it was only because I had a good voice for the mic. And that's really, but in the circus world, it doesn't matter if you're male or female.
I think some of this misconception about women in circus is because people think circus is what they see in the ring. So they don't see all the things that you talked about, Becky, which is you driving your trucks and doing the rigging and all this sort of stuff. Because they think, and so they don't realise that women do all this powerful thing.
I always find if I work in a theatre, when I'm doing a variety show or something, and you get technicians there that are used to theatricals, they're always shocked by my attitude because I expect to do my own rigging. I mean, you have to. You don't want somebody else setting up your rigging wrong, you know. And whatever I do, I always do the technical and the artistic and the performing myself, because that's the circus way. In order to do what we do and be in the right place with the right kit and the right organised crew or whatever, we've had so many things to do. Oh, and the childcare. You know, oh God, there's no food in the fridge for the children, and you have to be so efficient.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it is really interesting bringing two children up in the circus and kind of imagining how they're going to see it. I mean, it's an amazing environment for children, like the languages and the drummer takes them by the drum kit, gives them like drumming lessons between the shows. She'd be on the show, like first into the dressing room, doing notes, noticing what was happening. My daughter, she's
going to take over the show, the daughter is.
Don't you find that within the actual show is different? I mean, outside the show, you're doing the rigging, you're driving the trucks, you're doing all that stuff, helping with the tent. But in the show, there is very traditional male and female roles. Okay, so you managed to be a ringmaster. I don't know how much you had to prove yourself for that. Trapeze, the man is the catcher. Yeah. And the reason Skinny and the Cat became an all-female company, I wanted to be the catcher.
Yeah.
Me. I'm big, I'm Amazon, I'm not a little flyer. I couldn't have done it if I was going to be the flyer. I wanted to be the catcher, and I found when I worked with men, I couldn't be. Partly because I was too big to be the flyer, but partly also because they couldn't cope with that.
One of the best flying trapeze acts ever was the Flying Trapeze, which were all female. Okay, the catcher was male, but that was because it was a family. It was three sisters and a brother. I mean, but also the power of those girls. But you used to say, wow, she's so good, she flies like a man.
Oh, she floats through the air with the greatest of ease. You think her a man on the flying trapeze. She does all the work while the men take their ease, and that's what it's like for my love.
I mean, one of the things I was interested in is female clowns. And you don't often get female clowns, even historically.
But that doesn't mean you didn't have funny women.
No.
Like, it didn't have funny female clowns, but you had someone like Josephine Baker, who was a total comedian.
Well, I think they're funny comedian, but I 250 years, maybe 5 female clowns I've found. Yes. So I find that kind of interesting. Yeah. Like you say, I can find antecedents to most things. Because you don't see young women wanting to be clowns nowadays in the same way other aspects of the circus.
It's not so glamorous.
It's not very
is it?
glamorous.
It's not
is
very
it?
glamorous,
big,
yeah.
In the years ago, it used to be the big boots and the big nose. I don't think many women probably didn't want to.
To be funny is a level of exposure and a kind of a willingness to be grotesque. It's hard to be laughed at, and I think that maybe there is a kind of political thing in that women find it harder to make themselves that vulnerable that a man can.
One thing there isn't in circus, there's not many female circus directors.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Very few,
how many female circus directors did you work for? And then I was thinking, probably 2.
One of the things that really attract me to circus is the relative lack of body tyranny in circus compared to other art forms. Is that you could be, a woman in circus can be much chubbier, don't you think?
Curvy.
Curvy. Let's
I'm just looking.
much more curvy, but there isn't this sort
I do
of
think you look very
thin-
glamorous, actually, voting, body politics. Let's be honest, you look damn gorgeous.
I love the chunky thighs on the women. I love
But
that.
they're chunky, they're not floppy.
They're strong.
No,
They're
that's right.
strong. They're
Yes.
strong, aren't they?
But
They're
everybody's
working women.
They're not sort of wobbly.
No, but they're powerful. It's not, even if you're in a pair of fishnets, it's a powerful pair of fishnets. It's not
Like
a
emaciated.
wimpy. No, it's not emaciated and it's not
Well,
wimpish.
especially like high wire acts. I mean, when it was used to have the big troops, because my mother, she came from a big troop of high wire walkers, but they all had what they call the stay thighs. The name of the family was Stay, but they all had these really strong. But that was from the work as well. They were built like it, but also.
Have you got smart thighs?
Yes, I have actually.
People who say, we need to get more women in circus. I think what's fantastic talking to you is that you say, well, women have always been in the centre.
I know, I
Miss
get-
Lala,
yeah.
Karinga. Someone said to me quite recently, well, how can you bear circus? It's so sexist. And I'm like,
Not at
no.
all. Really?
I mean, these powerful, look at all of you, these fabulous, powerful, inventive, creative women. You run a circus, you're a huge circus star, you set up a circus company. I mean, I said, how is that sexist? But I think because maybe of the what is it?
I think
Is
it's
it
the costume. Yes, I think
that makes
before,
us
it used to be the sort of the style of the G-string and
Tits and teeth, tits and teeth, yeah.
And I
Tits and
think
teeth.
that's what did it. My costumes were very, I would say, discreet, but they were sort of evening dresses, but they were also dresses that clung to the body and you thought you could see something, but you couldn't.
But your costumes are fabulous, Becky.
But they are dressing up as an exaggeration.
Yeah, they're over the top, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're
completely over the top. But I must say, for me, there's a transition time before a show where you're kind of doing your stretching and you're getting your makeup on, where you're becoming that extension of yourself. You're getting into that zone from being. It's a connection to the person that's been banging stakes in and driving trucks, because it's still that powerful thing, but you're becoming your performance, your aerial character.
What happened with me is I used to share my fabulous feather headdress with the performer who had done an act before me. She used to come off, take off her headdress, and I used to put it on, and I could kind of smell her on it. And
I'll be the sweat. I'll be the sweat.
And I
Let's share your top hat then, yeah?
really loved that, because it made me feel that I was part of something. It wasn't just me going out there, me, Dea Birkett, but I was literally sharing the sweat with. See, I'm very optimistic about the future of circus. I think it's all fabulous, and I think it's interesting how many really significant women there are in circus, don't you think, at the moment?
So what do we think about the future?
I think it's female.
I think it always has been female. And I can't wait to see your daughter's first show.
Yeah. No,
She's already running it, by the way.
Swing, little girl, swing high. to the sky. And don't ever look at the ground. If you're